Welcome, dear listener. Tonight, we journey back nearly 700 years to a world lit not by electricity, but by candlelight and the glow of fireplaces. A world where church bells marked the passing of every hour, where dusty roads connected villages, and where most people never travelled farther than a day's walk from home. So before we begin, find a comfortable place to rest. Close your eyes if you wish, take a slow, deep breath, and let us gently step into medieval Europe. The year is 1347. The sun is slowly disappearing behind the rolling hills of southern Europe. Warm orange light stretches across fields of wheat that sway softly in the evening breeze. Farmers are finishing the last hours of work before darkness arrives. A shepherd quietly leads his flock toward a wooden barn. Children laugh as they chase one another through narrow dirt streets. From the stone tower of the village church, the evening bell echoes across the valley. Life feels peaceful, simple, predictable. No one realizes that history is only days away from changing forever. Far beyond these quiet villages, across mountains, deserts, and endless seas, something invisible is traveling west. It has no face, no voice, no mercy. It cannot be stopped by walls, kings, or armies. Within a few years, millions of people will lose their lives. Entire villages will disappear. Families will vanish without leaving a single survivor. Historians will later remember this terrible disaster by a chilling name, the Black Death. But tonight, none of that has happened yet. Tonight, Europe sleeps peacefully. Imagine waking before sunrise in a small medieval village. There are no alarm clocks. Instead, the crowing of a rooster announces the beginning of another day. A young farmer slowly rises from a bed stuffed with straw. The room is cold. The stone walls trap the night's chill, and smoke from yesterday's fire still lingers in the air. His wife quietly prepares coarse bread made from rye flour. Breakfast is simple. Bread, a little cheese, perhaps a bowl of warm porridge. Meat is rare. Fresh fruit is seasonal. Every meal depends on the success of the harvest. Outside, the village slowly comes alive. Blacksmiths light their furnaces. Millers begin grinding grain. Merchants prepare wooden carts for the nearby market. Children help carry water from the village well. Life is difficult, but for most people, this is simply normal. Nobody expects life to be easy. Instead, they hope for enough food to survive another winter. Travel during the Middle Ages is slow. A journey that takes 2 hours today might require several days. Roads are muddy. Bridges are fragile. Dense forests cover much of the countryside. Travelers often move in groups, fearing robbers hiding among the trees. Yet trade never truly stops. Caravans cross mountains. Ships sail across the Mediterranean Sea. Merchants carry silk from Asia, spices from India, gold from Africa, wool from England, wine from France. Every marketplace becomes a meeting point for cultures, languages, and ideas. People celebrate this growing trade. It brings wealth, it brings opportunity. But hidden among the cargo, something else is travelling too. Something nobody can see. In the busy ports of the Mediterranean, enormous merchant ships arrive almost every week. Their sails appear on the horizon long before they reach the harbour. Dock workers rush toward the waterfront. Merchants smile with excitement. New goods mean new profits. Heavy wooden crates are unloaded. Barrels of wine roll across stone streets. Bundles of cloth are stacked inside warehouses. Nobody notices the tiny black rats running across thick ropes connecting ship and dock. The rats are everywhere, in the storage rooms, under wooden barrels, inside grain sacks, hidden beneath piles of cargo. To medieval people, rats are simply another part of everyday life. Annoying, common, unimportant. No one imagines that these tiny creatures are carrying one of history's deadliest diseases. As darkness falls, candles begin glowing inside homes across Europe. Families gather around simple wooden tables. Stories are told. Prayers are whispered. Parents tuck their children into bed. Outside, the wind gently rustles through the trees. Everything feels calm, safe, peaceful, and yet, across distant lands, fate has already begun its quiet journey. A storm unlike any before is moving closer. Not a storm of rain or thunder, but one carried by ships, by fleas, by rats, and by the invisible power of disease. The people of Europe cannot hear it. They cannot see it, but history is already changing. While farmers harvested wheat in England, while merchants sold cloth in France, and while church bells echoed through the valleys of Italy, thousands of miles away, another story was quietly unfolding. It began far beyond Europe's borders, across vast grasslands, towering mountain ranges, and endless deserts. This was Central Asia, a land where powerful trade routes connected civilizations that seemed unimaginably distant from one another. For centuries, merchants had travelled these roads with caravans stretching farther than the eye could see. Camels carried silk from China, spices from India, porcelain, tea, rare jewels, fine carpets, and countless other treasures. Every journey lasted for months, sometimes even years. The roads were dangerous. Bandits waited in hidden valleys. Sandstorms could erase entire paths overnight. Snow blocked mountain passes during winter, yet the caravans kept moving. Trade was the heartbeat of the medieval world. Every city welcomed the arrival of these travelers. Markets filled with colors, languages, and unfamiliar faces. Merchants smiled as they counted their coins. Children stared in wonder at strange animals from distant lands. Everything seemed peaceful. But hidden among the supplies, something else was making the same journey. Tiny black rats quietly lived inside wooden carts. They hid beneath sacks of grain. They nested inside crates filled with cloth. Few people paid them any attention. Rats had always existed. They were simply another part of daily life. No one imagined they carried an invisible passenger, even smaller than the rats themselves. Small dark fleas fed upon their blood. Inside those fleas lived a deadly bacterium. Silent, invisible, patient. It waited only for the right opportunity. As long as the rats remained alive, the fleas stayed with them. But when the rats became sick and died, the hungry fleas searched for another warm body. Sometimes, that body belonged to a human being. Of course, no one living in the 14th century understood any of this. The microscope had not yet been invented. Bacteria were completely unknown. Disease remained one of life's greatest mysteries. Many believed illness came from poisoned air. Others thought it was punishment from God. Some blamed unusual stars in the sky. Others searched for magical explanations. The real cause remained hidden, and because it remained hidden, no one knew how to stop it. The Silk Road was never a single road. Instead, it was a vast network of countless paths stretching across deserts, rivers, forests, and towering mountain ranges. For over 1,000 years, these routes connected east and west, China, Central Asia, Persia, the Middle East, and finally, Europe. Every week, hundreds of merchants joined long caravans. Some travelled with 20 camels. Others brought more than 200. Their animals carried silk, spices, precious stones, porcelain, tea, fine wool and rare perfumes. Each caravan looked like a moving village. There were merchants, guards carrying spears and bows, guides who knew every mountain pass, cooks who prepared simple meals over small fires, and doctors, though medieval medicine could do very little. Every sunrise marked another long day of walking. The bells hanging around the camels' necks created a slow, peaceful rhythm. Clink, clink, clink. The sound echoed softly across the open desert. At night, the travellers gathered around campfires. They shared stories, cooked warm soup, watched thousands of stars appear overhead. For a few quiet hours, the dangerous journey felt almost peaceful. But danger was always nearby, not only from robbers or wild animals, but from something no one could see. Inside bags of grain, tiny rats searched for food, hidden beneath folded carpets. More rats quietly slept during the day, and on those rats, small hungry fleas waited patiently. They did not know they carried death. They simply followed nature, searching for blood, searching for survival. As the caravan stopped in one city after another, the rats climbed down from wagons. They searched warehouses, granaries, markets, and ships waiting at nearby ports. Without realizing it, they were leaving invisible footprints across continents. The people welcomed the arrival of every caravan. New goods meant prosperity. Busy markets filled with excitement. Coins changed hands. Children watched strange travelers with wide eyes. Musicians played cheerful songs. Everything seemed alive. Everything seemed hopeful. Yet beneath the wooden floors of crowded warehouses, the rats multiplied, quietly, patiently, almost unnoticed, and with every passing week, the invisible journey continued west, closer and closer to Europe.